Downloadable Opinions, Episode 4, Part 2 of our E3 rundown. This is the EA portion of our little podcast where we're going to be talking about their keynote.
Warning, this may contain a lot of cursing.
A lot of rage, to be honest. Now, I gotta say, just out of the gate, that I did not catch this entire press conference because I was working at the time. And I'm really pissed because I missed our first story. Dead Space 3 is come out, and basically the survival horror franchise from EA Games. The game that I'm really loving, I missed.
You missed. I wouldn't say you missed a lot because they didn't really show off too much. They showed, I think, either a boss battle or a mini boss. I think it looks great. I played the first game, never played the second one because I'm not a big horror guy. But it seems like nothing's really changed too much. I don't think they showed any new weapons. Everything looked familiar to me. The graphics look solid as always. Mm-hmm. It looks like they are actually being a little more action-oriented, which I think is like a lot of horror games are doing now. They're trying to get the newer audiences in. It looked good. And, I can't expect much else out of that game because it always has looked good. The only thing I have to think is since I played Dead Space, after about halfway, it stops being scary because you're expecting it now. Yep. I'm trying to wonder if it's like, it was the same way with Fear. Once you play the second game, you're like, okay, I know this is coming. So you never know.
They do have a problem with not being able to switch it up later on to continue the horror, but I will say stuff I've heard about Dead Space 3 is that they're bringing in a new co-op element to the game, where you can play with a buddy in and out, I think it is, which is kind of cool. But like as we saw in Resident Evil 5, the co-op gameplay does completely remove the horror. It's when it comes to dealing with AI, if there is that component, it's going to be really frustrating sometimes, especially when you think back to Shiva with Resident Evil 5. We'll see what they do, but like
the only problem I have with horror games being co-op is it's like it might end up coming down to one person being scared and you just being like, oh, here it comes.
Yeah.
It's always going to be.
Well, we haven't seen anyone do it well, and maybe Dead Space will blow us away and do it correctly, but I have a feeling they won't. Either way, I'm really looking forward to seeing a continuation of Isaac Clarke's storyline. I like the Dead Space universe. I want to see more of it. Just hopefully we can maybe sidestep some co-op stuff that would maybe ruin it. Anyways, moving on to our next little bit of stuff.
Rage topic number 1.
John Madden 13. New physics, better gameplay, everything we heard last year, and the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that.
Yeah, I really don't understand what it is with EA Sports and saying that it's all new physics, all better gameplay. Just admit that your physics suck and you have to keep tweaking them. And again, because I have a problem with EA Sports already because I'm a big NHL guy, and I've been playing NHL since NHL 10, professionally too. Mm-hmm. Stop making games with new physics. Patch your good games already.
It's every year they come out with a new game, but it's just the same game from last year with new character rosters and maybe one new gameplay element that's different, like first-person mode or some kind of coaching thing or create a character, which was one of the things we saw this time with the career mode. Oh, did you like the fake Twitter stream that they had in their press conference? That was hilarious.
Twitter in a game, yeah, that's... I mean, I guess for people who really like that, it's a great thing just to show how realistic it looks, but they're going to be fake, and they're fake, so it kind of defeats the purpose.
Exactly.
I mean, the only thing that was good about it is Michael Irvin came out, who, I can't remember, I think he was a defensive player. I don't know my football, so forgive me on
He's a Hall of Famer, though.
But he probably sold more copies of that game
oh
than
my God,
anybody else. He was hilarious. He was not reading prompter. It was very obvious he wasn't reading prompter. He even talked to the guy. He's like, yeah, baby. It's like, you're like, oh my God, that's what you need. You need, stop getting some random white guy who barely knows anything about football come out and talk like this. Yeah. Get Terrell Owens to come out and talk, or Chad Ochocinco to come out and talk, because that will sell your game.
He was seriously passionate about this game. Like I have no reason to buy this game, but he made me feel something for it. That these guys with their really heavily scripted speeches couldn't give me. I mean, this was pretty fun to see, and especially like an old timer. Like, okay, I was gonna say old timer in terms of football, but like definitely not a gaming type of person. Come out there and be like, this is really awesome. This is fun times. You got to play this game. I liked it.
It was good.
But anyways, the Madden 13, obviously we all have, like, we just have the problems with EA Sports, like you heard in our Xbox review. But I don't know. Maybe if they get more guys like Irving to come out and sell it.
We'll talk more about them later.
Yeah. SimCity and SimCity Social were the next couple games that the EA released. Social looks like we had this conversation on Twitter. Looks exactly like SimCity, or sorry, Sims for Facebook right now.
It looks exactly like Sims 3 Social. It's not even. There's not even subtle differences. It looks exactly like
the
it,
game
except
plays
instead
the same.
Instead of playing a player, you're playing as the city.
Yeah.
So I guess that counts as a change for them. That'd be like taking Farmville and putting it out into the city, but being the exact same graphics and the exact same shapes. You're just putting a color change on it.
Thank God they had something like SimCity to come right afterwards to blow that completely out of the water and make us forget entirely of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you happy that you can still trash your city with a giant Godzilla?
I'm so pumped about that. I can't wait for all the disaster stuff that's going to be out in this. It's been so long since we had a SimCity.
I can't remember when the last one was.
SimCity
It's been way too long.
5 or 4? Yeah, it's been way too long for all this. But
it's great to see Maxis again.
Yes, it is really phenomenal to see Maxis out there again. But look, let's talk about the gameplay of it. Multiplayer in there, a huge, massive world that you can play that's always on. Being able to do all these different co-op challenges, building airports, the entire system of a city. I told everyone on Twitter that I'm going to recreate Milton, Ontario, my hometown, inside this game, and I'm pretty sure I could actually do it. It looks really good.
Well, as they say, go big or go home, and they went big on this one.
They went super big.
You know that they want to make this series come back, and you know they want to make it big time. Because this looks impressive. I mean, it's not high-tech graphics like we're used to seeing in other games, but for a Sim City, this looks damn good.
It looks real. Everything is rendered in there, from people on the street to cars to these big grandiose buildings. Everything has an animation to it. It's going to be really interesting to see what the specs on the PC side are going to be. But even so, for the Xbox 360 as well as the PlayStation 3, and even if it comes out on Wii U, it will be very interesting to see what they do with it. I'm pumped. I'm really pumped for this game. Everything else, this is going to be one of the things I'm looking forward to.
I wasn't too big on SimCity. I mean, I played it here and there. My favorite Maxis game way back in the PC days where they were really releasing discs for everything was Streets of SimCity.
Yeah.
Because you could make your own little racetracks out of the city, and that was awesome.
It was so good. Cause, like,
it was a terrible driving sim, but it was amazing.
It was fun. Because you go into SimCity 2000, build everything you want, then take your car in there and go. They had the other game, SimCopter, as well, which was fun.
I mean, they had so many Sim Safari, Sim... I don't know.
Sim Ant, Sim Farm. SimCity has come a long way. Yeah, since then. But anyways, enough about gushing over stuff that's absolutely mind-blowing and amazing to things I want to throw this laptop through a window out into... I'm so angry at this.
Right. Rage game number 2.
Battlefield 3. So angry. Battlefield 3 has now come up with a premium service exactly similar to COD Elite. $49.99 will get you 5 expansion packs to the Battlefield stuff that's coming out. So included with it is Back to Karkin.
Yeah, this is the problem already. You're going to be paying for a pack that probably most people who are going to pay for premium, actually no, as far as I'm concerned, every person that's buying premium has probably already bought Back to Karkin.
Yeah.
That is a serious problem. That's $10 you're wasting already. COD Elite was $59.99. Premium's going to be $49.99. The difference is Battlefield already has Battlelog for free. Call of Duty Elite came with its own system that was similar to Battlelog, and you were paying for that. They're basically making you pay for $50 for 4 expansion packs and one that you've already paid for.
Yep.
That is insulting. That is extremely insulting.
And you know what? It makes the game cost now, Battlefield out of the box right now, I think it's down to $59.99.
So it's now $110 that you're paying for this game.
$110 that you're going to be paying for a game, right? I mean, you might get some nice perks out of it, but really, it's just, that's way too much money.
You know they're only doing it because they saw the success of COD Elite. That's the only reason.
But Battlefield does not have that same kind of following as COD. I'm sorry, like, Battlefield is an amazing game, but the amount of rabid fans you have for COD, it does not equal the same amount as Battlefield 3. It's going to be, people are going to buy it, and it's going to be this real test of frustration with people having to go back and forth saying, oh, do you have the premium pack? Oh, you don't? Okay, so we can't play together anymore. That sucks. That is that's terrible. I hate that.
It's already annoying enough because I play Modern Warfare a lot, and when you have to take certain maps away because some people don't have it is really frustrating. Mm-hmm. The fact that now Battlefield 3 is going to suffer from the same issues, it's going to get really annoying really fast, especially for people who are already on the fence about it, because both games are now at least, no, they're probably, they're both like 8 and 9 months old now. Mm-hmm. So it's getting to the point that it's almost too late. I feel like it's way too late for them to be bringing out the service. They should have thought about doing this a couple months after the game came out, or here's an idea, when it came out. Sorry, we know you're copying COD Elite, so don't try to fool us here.
Yeah. I mean, I would feel less bad about DLCs, like if they announced all 5 DLCs and we're just like, these are coming out this date, and this date, and they're going to cost $10 a piece. I would have felt fine about that. I realized that is the way they're going to make money going forward. But this just kind of feels all at once. Yeah, I feel dirty about it, and it's just weird and sucks. Let's move on. I need to get to happier things. Dun, 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 dun. Star Wars: The Old Republic.
BioWare is here.
BioWare is here.
As I said on Twitter, Star Wars: The Old Republic is coming up, and BioWare is here. But we all know why we're really hoping for them to come out for. We'll get to that later.
So, anyways, new missions, new companions, difficulty levels, and worlds have been all announced for this thing. It's I haven't played Knights of the Old Republic. I feel bad as a Star Wars fan.
It's okay. The MMO industry's dying anyway. You're not missing much.
It looks very good. They brought out new HK-51 companions.
I think it was HK-58, but then again, 58.
One of the two.
They're bringing in a new world. They're ramping up the levels, so there's going to be a lot more difficult missions and stuff to do. It was nothing special. They just said, "Oh, this is what's coming up." They didn't show us really anything, so it's nothing that's going to amaze you.
Mm-hmm. It's just pretty much announcing all the updates that are going to be coming for Sony.
Not some other update that, again, we'll talk about later.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So next is another kind of interesting game, Medal of Honor Warfighter. It looks really sleek. It's basically the same game we played 2 years ago with the Modern Warfighter. You were saying about the slow motion breaching.
Why does every game have slow-mo breaching? Every game has that. You get to a door, you hit the bomb, you come in, you have 4 guys you got to shoot in slow-mo. Yeah. Somebody argued with this I can't even speak now. Mm-hmm. Somebody argued with this last night with me. Mm-hmm. Because I said, why not have real-time breaching? And he goes, yeah, but that'd be really hard. Exactly. Well, that's called war.
We used to have that.
Nobody plays where they come out the door and all of a sudden everybody goes, whoa, slow-mo. Well, no, it is straight. You have about a 2-second window to see where they are and put a bullet in each of their heads before they shoot you. That is how it is.
And people used to do that. Remember with Rainbow Six? Remember with SOCOM? Everything used to have just real-time breaching.
It is them catering to the weak and stupid players that can't do this on their own because they can't think how to open a door, because they have to put the little thing on the door that says X to open door.
Yeah.
No, really.
Unless it's part of your playstyle where you have bullet time going on, like Max Payne did that
Max Payne,
really well. Max Payne, fantastic.
Fear, no problem, because they have the bullet time.
Yeah.
COD, Medal of Honor, Battlefield, none of them have slow motion. Why do they use it? I know it's because it would make the action scenes better, but stop using it. Yeah. Like it's a crutch. Seriously. Just stop.
Just let us actually have these
But otherwise, it's nice to see that our country got some special
mention. You know what? That's why I consider Medal of Honor an interesting game, because of the multiplayer aspect.
12 squads from 10 nations, so I think it's 3 from the States and then 9 from 9 other countries, including JTF2 from Canada. Badass.
So, you know what? I've never felt any kind of national pride, not generally unless it's Canada Day or some other real big national thing, but seeing Canada up there as like one of the nations that
because they're putting them next to SAS and all these other Spetsnaz.
You know what?
We're here.
Yeah, we're on it, and you know what? I want to buy this game just so I can be Canadian and go kick some ass.
It's like when I got the World Cup soccer game that EA Sports put out, another EA Sports Rage thing. But you could play as your own country. The problem was, playing as Canada, you kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Most people pick Brazil or Spain or England because they actually had good overalls. But whatever. It's nice to see that we're finally being mentioned in military operations because, we finally got away from cannons and our helicopters work.
Yes, I think it's going to be really fun, and that might be the reason why I pick up our Medal of Honor, which, to be honest, the last game, not the greatest. But we're going to move on to the next thing.
All right, let's quick fire here.
Madden on Facebook.
Madden on Facebook. As I said in my keynotes here, yeah.
Next.
FIFA 13. There wasn't too much they released to it. I mean, they were talking about EA Sports Football Club because they were talking about how the game with Manchester City and QPR, how it was such an amazing ending that got Manchester City to win the Barclays Premiership, I think. I don't know if it's Barclays or if it's whatever. I'm not a big football guy. But apparently they got 10 million hours of gameplay alone on that day because of that game. Just that game alone made people want to play it again.
That's really cool.
That's really cool. So they were talking about more improvements that they're doing, but the main thing they wanted to say is that Lionel Messi is going to be on the cover, which makes sense. He's one of the best players in the world. I mean, it's not really much else they could have gone for. I mean, you could have gone with like a Wayne Rooney or a Cesc Fabregas or some other guys, but really, like, Messi's the guy that everybody's talking about right now, so it makes sense.
Yep.
But the big news for sports, and this is the only good thing I've made with EA Sports today, they are finally partnering with UFC. No more UFC Undisputed. I don't know if it's going to still be EA MMA or if it's going to be EA UFC, whatever they want to call it. And Dana White was actually there. And if anybody's seen Dana White talk, he is the most intense person you will ever see. He was kind of out of his in terms of where he was. He was definitely speaking to a crowd that wasn't prepared for that kind of. But he was excited. Especially, I remember when he was talking about UFC coming to Toronto the first time. He was pumped. Whenever something new is coming, he is so excited. He was so.
He sells the brand like no one else.
There is nobody in this business in sports that is more passionate about what they do than Dana White. I can ask anybody to challenge me. Dana White is the most passionate sports guy in the entire world right now. There's no doubt. And that is probably why UFC is such an undisputed sports franchise right now. I mean, it's no brainer that they go to EA. EA. Last year they showed with MMA they're going to do live fighting, live commentary for 1 hour a day, I think, or something like that, 1 hour every night. And no offense to THQ, but THQ and EA is so far different from where they are on the ladder. It was a no-brainer. Yeah, this was going to happen eventually. So let's move on to the next one. Need for Speed Most Wanted. Nice to see Need for Speed back. Yeah, when we talked about Forza, it's basically the same thing. Can I just say one thing about Need for Speed? Can they start being realistic and putting 2s next to their names? Because we know there was a Hot Pursuit. We know there was a Most Wanted. No offense, guys. I know you guys don't like to admit that Most Wanted was a very bad game for the PS2 and Xbox and whatever else. At least admit that. But just admit it. Or maybe... this version looks good. It looks good. The demo was a lot more intense. You being chased by cops. It got really crazy at the end, too, because there was like 20 cops on you. Yeah. So that's cool. Just acknowledge the fact you've made a Most Wanted already. Or maybe come up with some different names. Just saying, I mean, maybe some originality might help. I'm surprised, actually, there hasn't been a Need for Speed Extreme, to be honest. I'm surprised that name has not been used. They're holding it off for something big or something really crummy. Need for Speed Extreme. They're probably listening to this right now, and there goes my trademark. I just lost, $1 million right there. There you go. Next on the docket, Crisis 3. Stop squeaking your chair, Adam. You know the guys at Crytek, they pride themselves on graphics, and we've talked about graphics a lot in the past 2 episodes, but unbelievable graphics in this. Really cool stuff that's going on, and just all the little details, I just wish for me I would like the game more, because I've played the first 2 and I just can't get into them. I love how it looks, but I just cannot get myself to play them. You know what? Crysis is just the biggest seller of the Crytek engine for, them. I think that's where they make their money. You think of a game like Rage. Yeah. It was built to show off what the engine can do. It was still an okay game. It had a shitty ending, but it was a good game. Same with Crysis. It is a way to say, here, look at where the bar is. Yep. And they have set the bar again. Yeah. Because right at the end, they show a dam exploding. And it's just... it's mind-blowing how
crazy crystal clear everything is, and it looks so good.
I know this is from the Ubisoft cast, but Aisha Tyler was hosting it, and she said, I got girlwood after watching that. That's how she probably would have felt watching that trailer.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Crisis 3 will be setting the graphics benchmark again. Everyone's going to have to go out and buy new graphics cards, but it's going to be fun. Anyways, let's finish this off. Winners, losers, Adam, go.
Top 3, no-brainer for me. SimCity at number 3, Dead Space at number 2, and UFC at number 1, because UFC, once again, is proving that they are always one step ahead of everyone else. As much as I don't like EA Sports, I think the fact that UFC coming into the equation, they're going to be able to make a game that's at least presentable and will at least be true to what the sport wants. Mm-hmm. Losers, number 3 was Medal of Honor Warfighter, because I thought it was too much like every other shooter. It didn't seem like it was bringing anything new. Mm-hmm. I do like the fact that Canada's in this, but the slow-mo breaching and every other cliche in this game, it drives me nuts. And I know I shouldn't be saying this when there's games like Call of Duty and Battlefield coming out, but... Yeah. It's just, to me, I'm sick of seeing the same modern shooter. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Battlefield 3. We discussed that. I'm not talking about it anymore because I have to talk about number 1, BioWare. I'm probably going to get to do some rants in the next few days, and for those of you that haven't listened to my stuff on my website, Critical Strikes podcast, I have something called Radical Rants, and I will gladly be doing a Radical Rants on this because I cannot believe that 3 months after the release of Mass Effect 3, they did not even mention a word of it at EA's press conference. BioWare came out, talked about Star Wars. I'm thinking, okay, we're going to get to hear at least when this 15-minute video package that's going to show the true ending of the game is going to come out. No, they just walked off like nothing happened. I'm sorry. I'm going to explain it later, but the fact that for 3 months we have not gotten a single peep out of them is frustrating for any fan of this series who has enjoyed it so goddamn much.
You know what? Before I get into mine, absolutely right. They didn't even say word one about Mass Effect, and it's just, we know the extended cut's coming. It's just, why not say something?
Just say you're sorry. It's like Sony. They never apologized for their hacking last year.
You know what? I would have
just said sorry. That's all I want.
My respect for BioWare, if they had come out and just had the N7 logo and just had Dr. I can't remember his name, just come up and say, I'm very sorry for what our fans have gone through.
Or just admit, and I'm going to say this again, I think they're not even making DLC, single-player DLC anymore. I think they're just planning on making a 4th Mass Effect. I'm going to be honest. Yep. That's how I feel.
Yeah. If he just come out and said that, I would have had much more respect for him.
You don't even need a video. Just put a board saying Mass Effect 4.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Yeah.
I can't believe that at the biggest gaming event of the year, you don't even mention it. Especially after the controversy.
Very angry at BioWare. But let me finish off winners, losers. Sorry, I'm going to have to contradict you again, but Modern Warfare, or sorry, it's not Modern Warfare, Medal of Honor Warfighter will be, I'm going to say 4th in there, just because the multiplayer just stirred something in me that I haven't felt in terms of actually gameplay. Well, for the multiplayer anyways. I think that's going to be an interesting thing to see. Dead Space 3, big Dead Space person fan. UFC, just because in terms of the baseball, like the talk we'll say about it, or the inside business anyways, it's kind of cool to see UFC come over to EA. Last but not least, Sim City is my number 1. I just can't wait for this game. Losers, you know what? I don't even have to say anything. Battlefield 3 and BioWare, that's it. That's it for this.
Well, thank you for listening to our EA. This was actually a much shorter. Our Microsoft was 38 minutes. This one goes 25 minutes. So I'm surprised we kept it down that low because we were angry throughout most of this. My face is probably a little red, but just wait for the Radical Rants. It will come out sometime this week. I guarantee you. I will probably be screaming in my mic for that one, so stay tuned. So next one will be Ubisoft Part 3 of 6. We will catch you guys later. Thanks for listening to this one. We'll see you down the road in hopefully 2 minutes because you'll be listening to the next one.
Enjoy.